We're at the Daytona International Speedway in Florida on a rather gusty February day for the running of the Daytona 125 stock car race. This is one of the big weekends of the American racing year. Tomorrow, except for the viewers in the state of Florida, you'll be seeing live on ABC the annual running of the stock car classic, the Daytona 500. I'm Jim McKay, and today, as I said, we're going to be seeing the Daytona 125, which is associated with tomorrow's big race, because from the field of 32 racing here, 14 will move on to the Daytona 500. Now, as I speak to you, only 2 drivers have actually qualified for tomorrow's race. That's Donnie Allison, who will be sitting on the pole, and A.J. Foyt, who will be sitting next to him. That occurred last Sunday. But 14 more will move into the race as we watch here today. Let's bring in, then, our expert on the motorsport, fresh from yet another journey overseas, Jackie Stewart. What do you think about this?
Jim, as ever, it's always nice to be at Daytona, such a big event. I think the big thing about the 125-mile race is that it really is a real sprint. And it's really the 100-meter dash in a way, because there's no time for the drivers to calculate strategy or anything else. It's just a sprint. There's one stop for fuel, which, of course, they have to do. But the big story here, undoubtedly, is Janet Guthrie. Will she today qualify for tomorrow's 500? This would be a big thing for any racing driver to get into the Daytona 500, and for Janet, obviously, a more important thing than for most people. And I'm sure everywhere in the world, whether it be America here or around the world, they're all wishing Janet Guthrie that she does get into the 500.
For the simple reason, of course, that no woman has ever qualified to run in this big race. For more on that story, now let's go to our other expert in the pits, Chrissy Konamaki, the editor of National Speed Sport News.
There are very few ladies who wear what you wear and sit like you sit, Janet. With the Daytona 500 coming up in this qualifying race, are you confident that you're going to be able to earn a starting position?
Well, pretty confident, I believe. Anything can happen in our race, of course, but as you know, I am holding the 20-something fastest qualifying time, so that I think that even if, for instance, I have a flat tire or something of that sort, NASCAR fills the last 10 positions based on qualifying time. I believe I should qualify based on that.
Janet, I've talked to several of your fellow drivers who a year or so ago were critical of a girl getting in, and to a man, they all said that they had to take their hat off to you. David Pearson said earlier that any girl that would qualify at 180 miles an hour is a pretty good race driver. Do you notice a change in the climate about your entering this man's bastion of motorsports?
Well, I'm real pleased to hear you say that, Chris. That just really makes me feel awfully good. As you know, there was an awful lot of hostility at the beginning. In USAC, Indianapolis racing, I know that the guys seemed to feel pretty comfortable with me as we went on through the year last year, and I'm very glad to hear that that is happening in NASCAR.
It sure will be fascinating to see if Janet makes it into the big race on Sunday. A woman in the race. My goodness, that would amaze the old boys who used to race on the beach down here. They wouldn't even allow a woman in the pits. We'll be back for the start. They're moving towards the start of the Daytona 125. On the inside of the first row, car number 1, Donnie Allison. On the outside, the king of the stocks, number 43, Richard Petty. Row 2, number 2 is Dave Marcus. There he is, right in the Roger Penske Mercury. Number 83 outside of him, Ron Hutcherson. In row 3, number 21, David Pearson. And outside him, Clifton Burton Marlin. They call him Cuckoo in the racing fraternity. Row 4, number 79 on the inside is Frank Warren. Number 12, Bobby Allison. The next row, 2 rookies, 22, Ricky Rudd, 27, Sam Summers. Then we have row 6. Number 4 is Salt Walter, and on the outside, number 68, Janet Guthrie, trying to become the first woman to drive in the Daytona 500. The pace car is off the track, the expected green flag. It's not out as yet. The usual tension in the air as they wait for it. And there it is. They're racing at Daytona, and Donnie Allison quickly goes for the lead. Right behind him is Dave Marcus. And from the third row, it's David Pearson. So it's Donnie Allison, Dave Marcus, and David Pearson. 1, 2, and 3. Richard Petty dropped back, as he often does in the early stages of a race.
Up high in the banking now, very closely tucked together. The leading 3 managed to break away a little bit from the rest of the field, because Richard Petty is holding them up that tiny little bit. Richard, not the fastest starter in the world, but certainly they're fast up front with the pole sitter in first position.
Okay, so it's Donnie Allison, the man who has already won the pole for Sunday's great Daytona 500 race that we'll be seeing live, except in the state of Florida, on ABC television. Donnie Allison, the leader. In second place, Dave Marcus with his new ride, the Roger Penske car. Third place, the Foxy Grandpa. That is number 21, David Pearson. And then Richard Petty staying just close enough. Again, as Jackie indicated, this is a sprint for these fellas. 125 miles or 50 laps of the tri-oval here.
Everyone just taking their time in these opening laps. It's very cold weather for Florida here. The tire temperatures are not up to their best working temperature, so nobody's taking any chances, particularly in the high-banked oval. The average speed is so fast, they've got to be careful.
Okay, there, by the way, is Janet Guthrie, running currently in 14th place. That is exactly where she has to finish in order to be eligible for tomorrow's race. However, she is being passed right now by car number 71, Neil Bonnet. Here's a relationship from the lead cars. That's still Donnie Allison in the lead, Dave Marcus second, David Pearson third, Richard Petty fourth. Oh, you better be a veteran and know what you're doing up in that game.
Yeah, you can't take any chances up there. Dave Marcus really pushing now, really tucked in behind that leading car of Donnie Allison. David Marcus never giving him any opportunity to get away.
Marcus, who came to stock car racing, is something of a stranger, being from Wausau, Wisconsin. Not from the American South, but he's become one of the fraternity. Right on the rear bumper of Donnie Allison. Pearson going a little bit high that time, out of the picture now. There will be one pit stop in this race, remember. One pit stop will be necessary for fuel. In fifth place is Ron Hutcherson, by the way, staying very much with the leaders. It's a good start and a very competitive first few laps then in the Daytona 125. Much more to come. The battle goes on to assert authority in the Daytona 125. That's Dave Marcus in car number 2, who has now taken the lead. In second place, David Pearson in car number 21. The former leader, Donnie Allison, is now third, and Richard Petty is fourth. This is classic racing among classic racing drivers.
And there's a classic move by David Pearson, slipping underneath Marcus there as he goes into turn 3. Calculated driver, one of the real old foxes, one of the most experienced drivers in any kind of motor racing at all. Getting it up there. I'm sure Donnie Allison, who right now is tucked into third position, just ahead of Richard Petty, certainly doesn't want to get any of his machinery marked. He wants to stay out of trouble. There's no point for him to do anything spectacular in this race, and that's why you're not seeing him going for the lead, I'm pretty sure.
A new interesting addition among the leaders is car number 12, Bobby Allison, who has now moved into fifth. So we've got the Racing Allisons from Hueytown, Alabama, both in the top 5. And now Janet Guthrie has dropped way back. By the way, she's in 21st place. She might not make the race.
Well, Janet Guthrie, I would have expected to drop back.
Yes,
there she is. There's Janet there in the green car there, number 68. I can understand why she's dropped back. She's new to this whole business. These tire temperatures, I'm sure, must be feeling uncomfortable. You can see the relationship of Janet Guthrie to the leaders a long way back. In fact, just about half of the racetrack now, but Janet Guthrie can't go in there and make herself feel as if she's got to press too hard. If the car gets sideways, it's very, very uncomfortable. Back up front, a real battle as usual. About 6 or 7 cars there, really storming it out, Jim.
But isn't it familiar to see number 21 and 43 on the lead? David Pearson and Richard Petty.
It's the same old group. Same regulars who you're going to see up there. And, of course, these guys have to be well placed to get into the 500.
And there is Richard Petty making a move on his old rival. Dave Marcus following him through in number 2. And number 12 is Bobby Allison. But Richard Petty gets the lead. And look at Dave Marcus just sneaking right along with him and getting ahead of David Pearson.
A great start for us in NASCAR racing down here, because really the crowd have come to see close racing here in a 125-mile race. There's nothing to give. You just can't light up at any time. There's been no yellow flags yet, so there's going to be continually tight racing.
Earlier, Chris talked to the leader about today's favorite subject at Daytona, Janet Guthrie. What does Richard think?
Richard, you've had some pretty strong beliefs on women in racing. Janet Guthrie's in this race. What do you think about going against her here?
Well, you know, I think that with the experience and stuff she had last year, I think I'll be able to trust a whole lot better this year than we did last year. And I think that a whole lot that she sort of got to be one of the crowd now. We don't really pay that much attention to her, but you can bet most of them still know which car she's in.
She's in car number 68, but Janet is still lagging badly in the field, nowhere near the 14th place she's hoping to achieve. Means a lot to her pride to finish in that top 14. We have a cloudless sky, a bright sun, but a very chilly afternoon as we watch the running of the Daytona 125. This race of 50 laps around the great tri-oval. A terrific battle for second place right now. Number 2, Dave Marcus, is in second. Just behind him, however, number 12 is Bobby Allison, then 21, David Pearson, and 1, Donnie Allison, who sat on the pole. Now there you see Bobby Allison making the move on Marcus, and there goes David Pearson behind him. Bobby Allison moving into second place. Marcus still second. David could not quite catch that toe and go through with him.
No, he just held back, and I think he held back for good reason. There was no point in rushing through at that moment, but there you see the Allisons. Well, what can you say? Bobby Allison early on in the season with his new car, and Richard Petty, of course, in the lead.
It's amazing how far ahead Richard Petty has gotten. He's opened up a lead of, several hundred yards on the rest of the pack. And they, however, are so competitive. Look at that. Bobby Allison now in car number 12, then 2, Dave Marcus, then 21, David Pearson, lurking just behind number 1, Donnie Allison. They've been back and forth, all one in front of the other for the last 10 or 15 laps. And there goes Marcus again. Marcus in car number 2, the pride of Wausau, Wisconsin. Then Bobby Allison and David Pearson, and the three of those moving away from Donnie a little bit. But Richard Petty is still the leader in the race, and there's much more to come. Right now, let's move on as we look at Richard to Bob Biatti in Montreal. With less than 3 laps to go, there's how they stand in the Daytona 125. Petty, Pearson, Donnie Allison, Bobby Allison, and Dave Marcus. Those are the leaders. And at this point, it looks like Richard Petty is headed, barring totally unforeseen events, for one of the easiest victories in his long NASCAR career. There's a battle for 4th and 5th, however. It is Bobby Allison in the car that looks blue. It's actually red, white, and blue, followed by Dave Marcus in the red and white car. Up ahead of them, Pearson was all by himself for second place, as is Petty on the lead here. Donnie Allison has a fairly good lead on the cars of his brother Bobby and Dave Marcus. Donnie Allison being in third. These two cars, remember, being in 4th and 5th. Number 12 is Bobby. Number 2 is Dave Marcus.
High on the banking there, obviously looking for the right part of the racetrack, getting close to the end of a 125-mile race. A very short race, and Richard Petty, what a lead he's got. I don't remember ever seeing a man having such a lead in such a short race. About 30 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
Even in the 500-mile race in this crowd. By the way, there's Janet Guthrie, number 68, being passed by Bobby Allison, and unofficially she is now in 18th place in this race. Remember, she had to finish 14th in order to automatically qualify by that method for the big race on Sunday that you'll be seeing tomorrow. There is the leader, Richard Petty, and there isn't very far to go. This will be the 181st victory of his long NASCAR career that started back in the late 1950s. There's the white flag. That means 1 lap to go. The only real battle then is that battle for 4th and 5th, although those two have begun to close in on Donnie Allison for 3rd place.
And one can never tell. In one of these high-banked ovals, the speed is such the car can quickly catch another one. And look at what the backs through the ring there as they come down there, looking for a place to go. Marcus trying to get up against Bobby Allison on the number 12 car, looking for a way to get it past.
Okay, but the crowd is looking at the man up front right now. There's Donnie Allison by the way in the red car with another car in between him and the 4th and 5th place cars. As they head towards the finish, they're all looking at this man, Richard Petty, old number 43. They wear number 43 T-shirts and sweatshirts and everything down here. They don't even have to say the name. Headed for the finish is Richard Petty. It's the checkered flag in victory, and those other two cars pass Donnie. We'll be back. So on this day, Richard Petty has run away from all the rest in the Daytona 125. David Pearson second, Bobby Allison and Dave Marcus both passing Donnie Allison on the last lap. Now to victory lane.
Well, congratulations, Richard. You won it by 30 seconds. Nobody does that.
Well, we just, everything worked good. I don't know what to tell you. Everything worked good. Car handled real good. I think that's where we beat them. I ran with them, the first 4 or 5 laps, and it looked like everything was getting kind of squirrely, so I figured I better get out of there.